James Cameron's 2009 Avatar movie was a groundbreaking cinematic experience that transported audience to the lush and alien world of Pandora. Riding the wave of the film's success, Ubisoft released Avatar the game in the same year on PC, Xbox 360 as well as PS3, aiming to bring the magic of Pandora to the world of video gaming. This third-person action-adventure game promised players the opportunity to explore this stunning realized world of Pandora and engage in thrilling combat and adventure. As a longtime fan of the movie and the lore, I embarked on my own journey to Pandora, eager to see if Avatar the game could capture the essence of the film and provide an engaging gaming experience. I never played this game back in the day, so I streamed both the RDA and Navi campaigns on my channel, which roughly took me about 10 hours in total, and this review will be broken up into different segments if you want to jump to a certain section.
Every time I tell him, stop sending grunts, and every time, more grunts arrive.
Signals specialist.
Yeah, same thing as far as I'm concerned.
The first and most notable thing is the graphics and world building, as Avatar the game opens with a jaw-dropping cinematic sequence that immediately immerses players in the lush, vibrant world of Pandora. The game's graphics, even by today's standards, are quite impressive. The attention to detail in recreating the flora and fauna is stunning, and the lush jungles, bioluminescent forests, and floating Hallelujah mountains are nothing short of breathtaking. The game excels in making Pandora a character of its own, as it captures the essence of the film's world building with remarkable precision. Character models for both the Navi and RDA soldiers are well designed and faithful to the source material. The game's attention to detail in replicating the Navi's distinct features, such as their blue skin patterns and expressive eyes, deserves special mention. While it's clear that the game's graphics were a focus of the development team, the consistency and authenticity in capturing the film's visual elements are remarkable. In terms of gameplay, it offers two distinct campaign modes. One allows players to assume the role of a Navi warrior, while the other lets you play as an RDA soldier. This duality adds a layer of depth to experience, as players can explore Pandora from two contrasting perspectives. However, when you start to dive deeper into the gameplay, some issues start to surface. Playing as a Navi is perhaps the more intriguing of the two options, as it allows you to experience Pandora's beauty and the connection between the Navi and their environment. The game successfully conveys the unique mobility and agility of the Navi as you traverse the treetops with ease and engage in hand-to-hand combat with soldiers and creatures alike. The Navi campaign provides an engaging, albeit somewhat repetitive, adventure with a very disappointing ending. Okay, that was anticlimactic to say to say the least. Yeah, I'm a bit lost for words here. That doesn't happen often. On the other hand, playing as an RDA soldier offers a more traditional shooter experience. While the action can be enjoyable, it feels somewhat formulaic and lacks the innovation seen in the Navi campaign, but you do get to use an amp suit. The transition from one perspective to the other is quite different and is definitely a standout of the game. The controls though, particularly the vehicle handling and flying on an Ikran, can be clunky at times, making certain missions frustrating. Additionally, the game relies heavily on fetch quests and combat scenarios, which can become somewhat repetitive after a while. It's clear that the game prioritizes its visuals over gameplay mechanics, which I can understand with the beautiful world of Pandora, and as you play through missions you do gain experience, level up, which grants you better weapons, better gear, and more powerful abilities. But after about an hour in with each campaign, I essentially stuck to 4 of the same abilities and just kept using them throughout the campaign. I also ended up using the same 4 weapons, as often when it comes to boss fights, spamming them is the best way to defeat them, as there is no real strategy unless the mission requires it. Avatar the game takes place 2 years before the events of the first movie, which provides an opportunity to explore Pandora's lore and politics in more depth. While the story isn't groundbreaking, it does an admirable job of immersing players in the conflict between the Na'vi and the RDA. The narrative explores themes of environmentalism, cultural clashes, and the consequences of corporate greed, mirroring the film's central themes. The characters, both new and familiar, are well written, and their voice acting adds depth to the storyline. The game even features the return of Sigourney Weaver's character, Dr. Grace Augustine, which definitely put a smile on my face. One notable aspect of the narrative is the moral choices players must make throughout the game, affecting the ultimate outcome of the story. These choices, though somewhat simplistic, adds a layer of agency to the player's experience and encourage replayability. I was hoping for more choices throughout the campaign, as there is only really one major choice in the beginning of the campaign, which sets your journey either in the RDA campaign or the Na'vi campaign, and then there's one more choice towards the end of the RDA campaign, but that is about it. It would have been nice if there was a couple of more choices, or even if during dialogue options you had the option to respond a certain way to characters, because even in the beginning of the game you can choose what your character should look like, and that gave me somewhat of an RPG vibe, thinking that there would be dialogue choices in the game. Unfortunately, the path is pretty linear, but I absolutely loved being in this expanded world of Pandora. As for the sound and music, the game features a rich and immersive audio experience. The game's soundtrack, composed by Chance Thomas, complements the lush visuals perfectly. It captures the ethereal and otherworldly feel of Pandora, enhancing the player's immersion. The game's sound effects are equally impressive. The wildlife of Pandora comes to life with distinct and realistic sounds, and the voice acting, as mentioned earlier, is well executed, further connecting players to the game's characters. The major selling point of the game, aside from it being set in Pandora, is of course the replay value, as it offers 2 distinct campaign modes and some moral choices that impact the story. But as mentioned, the overall replayability is limited. The repetitive gameplay, lack of diverse mission types, and occasional frustrations with controls can deter players from revisiting Pandora once they've completed the main story. It took me roughly 10 hours to complete both the RDA and Na'vi campaigns, and although I had a fantastic time playing through each campaign, there would be no additional value if I replay any of the campaigns. If a player completed both campaigns once, I feel that they've pretty much seen everything the game has to offer. Multiplayer modes were available at launch, but unfortunately I believe around August 2014, the online mode was shut down, so I could not experience that firsthand. Overall, the game successfully captures the visual and auditory aspects of Pandora, providing players with a breathtakingly beautiful and immersive world. It excels in world building, faithfully recreates the look and feel of James Cameron's movie, while staying true to the world. The storyline and moral choices add depth to the experience, allowing players to engage with the central themes of the Avatar universe, and despite the repetitive missions, clunky controls, and limited choices, Avatar the game was certainly a fantastic experience and one that I would recommend to any Avatar fan out there that has not yet gotten their hands on this game. Of course, with it being an old game, you cannot purchase this online anymore. The game, as mentioned, was released on PC, Xbox 360 and PS3, so if you do have an old 360 or PS3 lying around, you may be able to get a copy online through eBay or somewhere that you can pop it in and play it. But if you want to experience this game now on PC, you may have to go certain ways, which I'm not going to mention here in this video, as you cannot purchase this game on Steam or the Ubisoft store anymore. Ubisoft really had a missed opportunity here by not remastering this game before the re-release of Avatar in 4K back in September of 2022, as I feel it would have been an easy cash-in by just touching up some visuals, reworking some clunky controls, removing the online aspect completely, and selling it for a $20 package, as many fans online have been trying to get their hands on this game or replay this game, unfortunately with no success. But as mentioned, if you've not yet experienced this game, I would recommend trying to get your hands on a copy, and even though this is not canon to the world of the movies, it was still fun to explore this additional world, or this additional way of experiencing Pandora. But what did you think of Avatar the game? Let me know in the comments below, and for more Avatar content, have a look at the rest of my channel. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.